Countdown. Welcome to the Talking About Life podcast. I am your host, Ian Lepkowski. On Twitter, my handle is at Kowski_ETH. That's at KOWSKY_ETH, which is the first three letters in Ethereum. My ENS is Kowski.ETH. We always start the show by thanking God and thanking the universe, however you see it, something bigger than you, for whatever energy, whatever magic brings these guests to the show and gets people saying yes and gets people excited to share their stories and share their passions. Come on and talk with us so we could listen. We also always start by thanking the guest. Today, we're lucky enough to have our guest, Paul Pototsky, VCon1 alumni. His Twitter handle is at PaulP911. That's at PaulP911. His Twitter bio reads, Jack of all trades, podcast manager, roller skating rink COO, adventure seeker, YouTube co-host, construction company owner, and then also has the link tree on his bio. So feel free to provide whatever information additional about yourself that you would like. But how are you doing today, and how are you doing in general?
I'm doing well. Nothing to complain about today. It's a beautiful day, a little cloudy, but it's warm outside, and all the reason to smile and be grateful that we woke up this morning. Just driving, had to go pick something up a couple hours away, so just driving back home right now. Glad to be here and glad to get it going.
Yeah, good to have you here on the pod. No need to feel like you have to make eye contact or anything. Definitely keep your eyes on the road. Stay safe driving. But yeah, so the show is about passion and positivity. We could already tell from your bio that, you're a multifaceted individual here. You have different endeavors that you're involved in. So I assume you have different passions. What are you most passionate about, or what would you like to start with?
I got lots of passions. So, since I was little, I played a lot of sports, and I still like to do sports, like rec leagues and pickup games and all that kind of stuff. So sports is a big part of life. Since I was maybe 14, 15, I've been doing like tech stuff, like graphic design and, logo making, t-shirt designs, all that kind of stuff. I've been helping my cousin a lot, who does a lot of social media stuff, TikTok, Instagram.
Do you
YouTube.
do that now still? Do you do the t-shirt design now?
Whenever needed, yeah. It's not like a job or anything. It's just somebody asked me to make something for them, I help them out.
Just like extra skill set that you have. How do you do that? Do you have like a direct to garment machine, or it's like a cut and sew, or like a silk screen kind of deal?
I don't make the stuff. I just design it.
Oh, cool. So you do graphic design.
Yeah, and then there's either a local shop or like something like custom ink where you can just order online and it shows up in the mail. There's a bunch of different options. But yeah, I've done some for like this YouTube show that I'm part of. He has like another YouTube channel that I made some designs for. I've done stuff for my church in the past.
And what do you do that with? Are you using like Adobe or something, or Procreate, or iPad, what do you?
I have Adobe. I usually use Photoshop, sometimes Illustrator, but Photoshop is I'm better at Photoshop than Illustrator. So it just obviously it depends on what design the person's looking for. Like I'm not like a good artist, so I'm not good at like drawing stuff in detail. But I'm good at like putting stuff together. So if you want like a hand drawn, logo or whatever, then I don't do that kind of stuff.
Right.
I haven't tried, but I know I'm not that good at drawing, so there's no point of really wasting my time unless I want to get really good at it. But I usually use Photoshop, throw some stuff together. I can do like a little bit of editing of, I used to do wedding photography for 10 years. I was like a second shooter with my cousin up in New York. So I'm good at photos, editing photos, taking photos, all that kind of stuff. And then for the YouTube show, I do most of the filming, so I'm pretty good at video stuff too. I was the editor for it, but then we got another editor now, so that took some stuff off my plate, which was pretty liberating.
Good. Good to clear the plate. So how did you get into all this stuff? Like you said, it's good to clear the plate. Sometimes you clearly have a lot on your plate. how did you get into all these endeavors? Like, did one just kind of led into another, or, was it like influence from Gary Vee kind of thing, hustle culture? Like, what kind of, made you get started?
I have a really hard time saying no to people. So people ask me to do stuff. I'm like, I've never done it before, but sure, I'll figure it out. And then I figure it out, and the next person asks me to do the same thing because I've done it before, and then someone else asks me to do something new. I'm like, I guess I'll figure out how to do it and make time for it. So, YouTube University works wonders, and it's free. So if anybody needs a hack to life, YouTube University is the move. And Google. It has all the answers you'll ever need in life. But usually just from not saying no to people, from me just, like, sometimes you stumble
Cutting out a
across
tiny
random
little bit.
videos and you're like, I wonder what that would be like. So then you go to, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Can you hear me?
Lost video.
Okay.
I hear you. I lost video.
Sometimes you get down. Sometimes. Okay. Sometimes you hear or you go down the YouTube path where you start watching something and then you end up watching some crazy video 3 hours later and you're like, that looks pretty cool. Let me give that a shot. So it's just a mixture of everything. Stumbling across something that looks cool that you want to give it a try, or somebody asking you to do something you've never done before, or just getting better at what you already know how to do. So it just depends on what your goals are, but how the situation came about.
Yeah. So speaking of goals, like, like I said, you're involved in all these things. Like, is there an overarching goal, or you're kind of just living in the moment, saying yes as you go, seeing where life takes you, or is there like a bigger picture plan, or, how would you phrase that?
For now, there's no bigger picture plan just because I just have so much going on, and I recently started doing something in construction, so I want to see that through. So I guess the goal right now is is that construction part, but other than that, I don't really have like an ultimate, I want to build this company that does this, makes this much money by this year. It's more of like, this is what we're doing now. Let's try to do as best of a job as we can for it. And, whatever comes along next is what will happen next. But I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do, like, as an overarching goal in life.
Yeah, and I think Will Smith said this, like, if you're not sure where to get started and, you got to build a wall one day, you don't start by thinking about building a wall, because building a wall, you don't build a wall by building a wall. You build a wall by laying, a brick and then laying another brick and then continuously laying bricks, and you keep laying bricks, and lo and behold, you look up one day, you got yourself, the beginnings of a wall, and you keep going, and there's your wall. There's what you were trying to build all along. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, it kind of sounds like that's your model, is like, you don't know, what exactly you're building, but you know that every day you're out here, laying the brick the best you can kind of lay the brick, and that eventually you keep laying these bricks, you're going to build something.
Yeah, and obviously the more you try, the more skills you have for whatever you want to get into later. So if I have all those skills in my pocket, they'll definitely come in handy in whatever I end up deciding to do, like, long term.
Yeah, 100%. Now, one of the things on your bio was YouTube co-host. What's that all about? Like, what's the YouTube channel? Like, who's the host? Like, tell us about that.
That's the construction stuff that we started. There's
Okay.
a YouTube channel called Nico's Property Show. I do that with my cousin, and he is like the main host of the show. I do all the filming, but sometimes I make it on camera here and there, so that's kind of cool.
So, like, what is so it's showing people like how to do certain construction tasks then?
Yeah, like on his so I moved to Tennessee about a year ago, and he
I lost audio for there.
Are you good?
Back. Yeah.
So I was just getting a call, sorry.
No, all good.
Nico's Property Show. So he started the show before I moved down to Tennessee with his personal house that he built for himself. So he was building the house, filming, editing, doing everything himself. And then I moved down about a year ago, and there was like about 3 months left in the build, so I ended up helping him finish that house. Did some filming, that kind of stuff. And that was all him, the first house. And then recently we built a duplex, which is now done, but it's all on YouTube. And I was part of the whole process for the duplex. And I did all the filming for that, and that's where I was on video a few different times for that second build that we did. And then we're about to start another build, but that's coming up in a couple weeks.
So the part where you were on the video, like what are you doing? Are you doing the work, or like do you talk people through it? Like do you voice it after? Do you voice it in the moment?
Yeah, no. So basically, we teach people how to do stuff. So like his first house, he basically taught somebody how to build a house, what steps you got to take, showing the progress of everything, explaining like the back end, how to how to hire people, what to look for, that kind of stuff. And basically, it was the same thing for the duplex. Instead of a single family house, a 2-unit house, but it was the same thing where you like explain how to do it, showing the progress from start to finish. And then because obviously most people haven't ever built a house in their life, so if they want to learn how to do it, they could basically watch the whole progress from start to finish of that duplex, and they could probably build themselves a duplex if they watched the whole season of that specific build. And then me being on video,
that would include like electric and plumbing and all that?
Yeah, everything. I mean, we don't do, we sub out a lot of the work, so we're not necessarily doing all the work ourselves, but we're still there explaining, getting video of everything, telling people like why they're doing it this way, that kind of stuff.
Cool. And like, would that be like, where would that rank? Like, that's one of your top passions or top 3?
In terms of like enjoying the video part or the construction part?
I guess either. Like the whole podcast experience, the building, the whole thing, the whole experience.
I enjoy it because it's, you're doing something new every day. Like one day you're doing dirt work, the next day you're watching somebody frame a house, the next day they're doing brick. It's something new every day or every week, which keeps you from getting bored as easily, because if I do the same thing every day for a year, I'd get really bored. So it keeps it interesting because everything changes all the time, and then it's also awesome watching something go from a bunch of trees on the ground to now being a house that somebody can live in. So just the whole process of building is cool, and the fact that we can capture it on YouTube and share that experience with all the viewers, and while teaching them at the same time, that's, I really enjoy that part too.
Yeah, so you get multiple kind of values out of it. Like one is like like you said, the feeling and the sense of accomplishment of starting with like just looking at land, and then all of a sudden like you built a house, a duplex, and then the other part is like not only are you doing it for that one job, who knows how many other people you're affecting that maybe didn't know how to do it beforehand, and now their location is going to have a house there. Like, so it's you're building the house, but it's almost like you're building all houses across the nation through other people, so to speak, or something like, if you could phrase it like that. It's a funny way to say it maybe, but that's kind of what it is. You're spreading the knowledge and getting that vibe, getting that message out, and getting that knowledge out, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, YouTube University is what I call it. If somebody was to pay somebody to teach them how to build a house, that would cost you a lot of money, versus going on YouTube and having somebody explain everything is free. So it's just incredible value for whoever's watching. Now,
YouTube, I know, is free if you're watching it. On the back end for you, like, do you have a monetization model set up? Like, I don't have any monetized YouTubes. I don't know exactly how that works. Like, how many viewers do you need, or is that something you're doing?
Well, for YouTube, it's to get monetized on YouTube, you need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, which takes a little bit of time to get to. I mean, the 1,000 subscribers isn't as hard to do as the 4,000 watch hours.
Right.
Like, let's say you have a 10-minute video, you would need 400 people to watch the full 10-minute video, which most people don't watch entire videos on YouTube. They watch half of it and go to the next video.
Right.
It's pretty normal. So to get 4,000 watch hours is pretty, pretty, I want to say difficult, but it just takes some time. You gotta have a lot of patience for it.
Are you guys like there now, or do you know how far you are away, or like you're building towards it?
Oh, everything's already monetized. It's been probably about a year.
Monetized.
Yeah.
You said it took about a year to get to that point?
To get monetized? Well, this one was much quicker because he had another channel that was already at like 400,000 subscribers. So to get monetized was pretty quick because they all came over here. But once you're monetized, you basically just make money off of ads that play on your video during while people watch it.
How long did it end up? Like, I know it was quick. How long did it take then? Like, it was like a month or like a few weeks, or like how quick from having the other stream?
A month or two, I think.
A month or two. Yeah, that's great. Do you know how long it took them? I don't know if you were involved with the other thing. Do you know how long it took them to build the first stream?
Probably at least a year.
A year. Oh yeah, so not unachievable then, right? Like it's a lot of work. It's a year's worth of work, but if you could stick in it for the year, then there you go. Then you kind of got the beginning. And then how much money? Like, so when you first break in, how much are you actually getting from that?
Well, there's different streams of income. Like, there's obviously the YouTube ad revenue, but then once you get bigger and you have a bigger audience, sometimes companies will pay to have sponsorships on your video, which has nothing to do with YouTube. It's more, hey, I'll give you X amount of money to make a video.
So it's like independent advertising.
Yeah, so instead of having a TV commercial during the Super Bowl, you're just having a 30-second mention on a YouTube video that some random person makes.
Right.
And that all varies on company and how much reach the YouTuber has and all that kind of stuff.
And you could do both of those at the same time?
Yeah, the sponsorships have nothing to do with YouTube. YouTube just pays you for basically you get paid on how many views you have on your videos, because the views on the videos get views on the ads, and the more people that see the ads, the more money you make.
So if it's not through YouTube, how do you get these sponsorships? Like, how do you go about that? People just reach out to you, or you reach out to them?
Both. I mean, you can be aggressive in, emailing 40 companies a day, and one will respond and be like, hey, we'll give you, whatever, make a video about these cabinets or about, just whatever they want to, whatever they're selling.
And then you just drop like their name kind of in it, and then they pay you for that?
Yeah, basically, you talk about them, what they make, mention their website, just whatever they want, basically. Mention their Instagram. Is
the construction thing that's like primary income for you right now? Like, that's like going well? Like, you're happy with it, or like how do you feel about it?
Yeah, that
like financially.
And it's making me pretty good money, but I also manage a skating rink, which is another source of income.
Yeah, I saw that too. So like, how do you manage your time, I guess? And then like, how do you get into the skating rink thing? COO skating rink.
I post that more so to be funny, but I am the operating manager. It's 15 employees. It's not like it's 100.
No, but I mean, it's your thing. I mean, you're in charge of it.
Yeah. But my friend bought it, and they're like, "You want to manage this rink?" And I was like, "Yes, I've never done it before, but I'll figure it out." So I ended up getting that gig. It was already running for a bunch of years, so it's not like a brand new rink. So like all the employees that were there are still there, so they all know what they're doing. So I'm not like spending 50 hours a week just teaching people. They already know what they're doing. So I'm more like oversight, making sure everything's going well, proposing new ideas, making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. Just regular manager duties.
And do you skate?
When I was younger, I skated a lot, like rollerbladed. Like the inline rollerblades. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I did a lot of inline rollerblading when I was younger. But I've never. I think I did like the skating where it's like the four wheels, like a few times in gym class when I was in school. But I've never done it since then. But when I took the rink over, I've gone skating a few times, and I'm pretty decent. But I wouldn't say it's like I'm like great at it.
And it's a rollerblading rink, right? Not ice skating.
Roller skating, yeah.
Roller skating, yeah.
But we also have roller blades too for the people who like inline.
Oh, roller skate and rollerblade. Do you have a preference?
I'm just better at rollerblading, but it's just
yeah, me too.
Personal preference.
I don't know how to do the roller skate.
There's something called.
I don't have the balance for that.
There's a lot of people who can like dance in skates, which you can't really do in rollerblades. So if you like more like the artistic skating, then you usually skate.
You still like dance in them?
Like, yeah, like people choreograph dances. People like
interesting.
Groove to the music, that kind of stuff.
They like put on shows, or like they just do it like among the crowd, or how does that work?
Both, like we have a DJ that works at the rink, so he's DJing every time we're open. And people, there's a bunch of different types of skating. There's like jam skating where it's like fast paced. There's shuffle skating, which is like more dance vibes, like doing the moves to the music. There's like slow R&B where like you're trucking to the music, to the beat. It just, the skate culture is something I'm so new to that I'm still learning everything.
Do you get out there and do the dancing at all?
Say that again?
Groove to the music? I said, do you go out there and do the dancing at all? You groove to the music? You fuck with any of that? No? not a regular dancer, not a skate dancer, neither one?
I can pretend, but you don't want to see that.
I might. You never know. You ever see Gary Vee dancing? I only ever seen him do the crab. I think that he says it's the only movie he's got. I only seen it twice. I saw two different times he did the crab.
I guess it depends on spur of the moment, spontaneous, whatever comes out, I guess.
Right. Maybe if you're at a bar, have a couple shots or something. I don't know if you drink, but if you do, that tends to help.
Yeah, well, I guess just don't be recorded. That's all.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to end up on YouTube for that, right? That could get the million views though. That could get 14 million views. True. People might like that.
You're right. Continuous.
That might be the winner. It's the one. It's the one you don't think. It's the document, don't create, man. You got to get the dancing out there.
I gotta do the
construction and dancing, bro. Same channel. That's what Gary's about.
In skates.
100%, bro. So while we're bringing up Gary, I like to talk about Gary. It's often a common passion between me and other, guests. A lot of people are V friends. What got you into Gary?
I just stumbled across stuff like, I don't know, I was still in college, so probably like 8 to 10 years ago, I probably discovered him.
Oh, wow, you've been on for a while.
And just been following him ever since.
Did you get any of his shoes?
I have one pair of shoes. I didn't buy them, but I was given them as a gift.
Nice. Which were the K-Swiss ones, or?
Yeah, they were the white, green. They kind of look like the those Adidas ones with a flat bottom. I forgot what they're called. But they're not like sneakers. They're like the between dress shoes and sneakers. What are those called? Just everyday.
Like boat shoes kind of thing?
Yeah, they're not boat shoes, but they're casual shoes, not like sport sneakers.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I was following him a while too. I think I got his either the first or the second shoe that he came out with in like 2017, like on his birthday or something. He was in New York City. I got a chance to pick those up. I got a couple pairs. He signed them. I was able to flip a couple. It was a pretty sweet Gary Vee moment.
Is that how you discovered him, or you knew him before that?
That was the first time I met him. But yeah, like I knew him before that. I was listening to him, and then I heard about this, and I was working in the city at the time, and it was like not that far from my office, and I was like, oh fuck this, like I gotta fucking go to this for lunch, like whatever, like if I come back late, fuck it, like this is like whatever, I'll have to just I'll just have to like explain, like I definitely got to go to this, you know what I mean? Like there was like a big line, I was like, all right, I'm in, like I'm not turning back now, like You know, I think I got back like relatively in time. Maybe I stayed a little later that night. It wasn't a crazy deal. It worked out timing wise pretty well. But yeah, that
So
was
you,
a fun experience. But I had been listening to him before that. When I first got into him, I wasn't sure what to think about him. It took me like, I don't know, a few months to a year before I got to the point where I heard his like origin story about how it's all about like the immigrant story and all that, and like the emotionally relatable touching part. Like before that, he was just like this hustler, and I was like, I don't know, he's talking about positivity, but like what's his motivation for that? But once I got the answer to that, that's when I was like, oh, okay, it kind of adds up. I thought it was like a gimmick at first. But then
yeah, that
once I
makes
got
sense.
past that, I was like, I'm in, baby.
Yeah, I'm Ukrainian, so the whole coming from Russia thing and Soviet Union, it's very dear to my heart. My parents came from the Soviet Union.
Right. Like he's really living that American dream story. Like he's really like kind of rags to riches. Not kind of, he is. It's a rags to riches story. It's the American dream story, bro. He's a great example of it. So then I get it, you know, because it's like otherwise it's hard to understand why he's so positive like that. Because other people try to be like that, and it's like a pitch or something, you know, and it's not totally genuine. So that's why you got to kind of, in my opinion, get to the root, find out where it's coming from. But yeah, for him, it's his love of his mother, love of America, entrepreneurship. Like he was the kid selling lemonade, selling like it's him. You know what I mean? Like he's genuine. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, like you know. But it you know, at the time I was listening to a bunch of Simon Sinek, Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, like fucking all these other guys. Some of them I don't even remember their names. Like, and I was like trying to figure out like, all right, who's who in all this. So it's like I got exposed to a bunch of people at once, and Gary was in the mix, and I was like, I don't know, but yeah, then eventually got past it. And I was like, I love this guy.
Gary's the one that stuck.
Yeah, Gary's the one that stuck. He became my main man. Yeah, the other guys are cool. I still like their quotes and stuff. You know, David
Oh yeah,
Goggins
for
is cool.
sure.
There's some other cool dudes out there, but you know, for me, it's the biggest thing. You know, is the kindness and the positivity. Like I had like you know, a rough childhood or whatever, or you know, psychologically, not necessarily financially, but you know, everyone's got their things. So you know, I always wanted to be the hero, you know, that you want to see in the world, like the cliche quote. So it was like for me, like seeing Gary be that and do that and become that, that was the hook for me, because it's like, I don't know, maybe Tony Robbins is kind of like that. So, but like for me, it was like, you know, it wasn't Tony Robbins. It was Gary V for me. And not everyone who's like entrepreneurial has that like compassion and positivity. Like everyone's got the drive and the hunger for the money and the, you know, like stay at the office late, get there early. Like a lot of people have that message, but not everyone have the, but don't be cutthroat. Don't fuck people over. Like don't do it in a way that makes you feel like you're lacking integrity. Like don't do it in a way that makes you feel like you're not doing something nice, or you feel like it's like you're stealing or something or being dishonest. You know what I mean? Not everyone stresses that as much. Some people even go, yeah, fuck it, like lie, cheat, and steal to the top, fake it till you make it. You know? So some people mix the two, and it's like, no, Gary has the right combination for me. That was rare. I didn't really find that exact combination anywhere else.
Oh yeah, for sure. Gary is definitely super kind and always trying to have everybody do their best, no matter if it's competition or his best friend. He wants everyone to succeed, which most people aren't like that. Most people are like, I'm competing with you. Okay, I want you to lose. I want to squash you. But everybody needs to have their moment and get to wherever they're trying to go. So they're not going to get in their way.
Right.
They're not taking anything away from you.
Right. And the way he phrases it sometimes, you know, the world's abundant, you know, like, yeah, like, you know, to some extent you're competing with people, but there's so many like avenues of revenue that you could find your lane and, you know, not feel like you're squashed by the competition. You know, it doesn't have to be that sort of thing. And you know, it's the compassion of the juxtaposition of he's like, I'm gonna tear your face off on the field, and then after the game's over, bro, that's not personal. That's like the game, and then like, let's go to dinner. I'll fucking pay for you. I'll get you some wine. You know what I mean, bro? Like, you know, it's not everyone has the juxtaposition. Not everyone can leave it on the field and have that compartmentalization between like, this is the game and then this is real life. And in real life, bro, we're just people, but in the game, I'm gonna fuck you up. It's like not everyone can handle both, but he can, and he sets the example of that. Then he teaches you like, yeah, be competitive and compassionate. They're not opposites, and it's fucked up that everyone thought they were. Like he's showing us like, no, that's crazy. Like no one just ever showed you the right way.
Yeah, I mean, because everyone that is shown in a negative way, and everyone that's positive is never given the exposure of light. So it's like you never see it, and the only thing you see is the negativity. So that's what you're going to believe if that's all you see.
100%. When you got into Gary, like, was he the only, like, was it like you kind of just got exposed to him? Like, did you have a similar experience where, like, you know, YouTube or whatever, like, started like just throwing like 100 other similar guys at you, and like, because it was the algorithm, or like, how did that go for you?
I mean, I've listened to Ty Lopez and Grant and Gary and everyone. Like, it's not like I don't still listen to them, and it's not like I always listen to Gary, but it's just, the people who put themselves out there are going to have the most exposure on your feed or anybody's feed. So obviously, if they're the ones putting out the most content, they're the ones who are going to be seen. So I wouldn't say it's like, because you saw Gary, you saw these. It was probably because these are the people who are posting the most, so these are the people who you're going to see.
I mean, it's definitely a mixture, but like the way the algorithm works, like if you watch a Gary Vee video, bro, like it's no coincidence we both know the names like fucking Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez. Like they're definitely, they definitely fucking pitch them to you. Let me ask you, VCon is coming up. The next VCon, you're definitely going, I believe you said.
The plan right now is to be going, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Plan is to be going. Dope. And you went to the first VCon, right? That's part of your thing. VCon 1 alumni?
Yeah. Yep, I was there last year.
I didn't get to go to the first VCon. I slept on minting VFriends the first time around. I now have a VF1. I have my ticket. I think my mom even wants to go this year. She was asking me to help her get a ticket. She might go with one of her friends, so that's fucking awesome. But I didn't get to go the first year. So do you want to just tell me a little bit, like everyone has some sort of, positive story, what's your kind of story of the experience, either how you got there or who you met or, whatever was special about it?
So I don't have a VF1, so I don't have a ticket. Last year was the same thing.
Wait, I thought you went to okay.
Yeah, last year I bought a ticket like a week before the conference because, I mean, I was just watching the prices and I'm like, they're just going to keep going down because if you haven't sold it by the conference, you're not going to just keep raising your price because you want to sell it before the conference because, yeah. So I waited till the week before.
People miss their window.
I paid like 0.2 ETH for a ticket, which was like $400 or whatever it was, which was a pretty good price. Not much higher than they are right now. And
they're 300, I think 309 right now or something. You have to guess.
Yeah, I think it's like 0.17 ETH or I'm talking about the first Beacon. It's like 0.17. I don't know what the Beacon 2 tickets are.
Yeah. No, I'm saying now. Yeah. Today now they're like, I looked today, they're like 309. Where that was the lowest listed. Like, some people were accepting offers a little lower. 0.22 it was that.
0.22?
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid
ETH
price.
was at like 1,400. It is a solid price. I was thinking maybe I'll get a second ticket and flip it in a few weeks when it's 500. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, last year when I bought my ticket, ETH was at like 3,500, so obviously it was more expensive or whatever it was at.
Right.
And so I bought a ticket. I already had like a flight and an Airbnb and everything. I just didn't have a ticket. I was just waiting to buy a ticket. So I booked an Airbnb. I stayed by myself. It was a couple blocks away from the stadium. Flew in. I think I came on Wednesday. Just hung out on last year, yeah. Hung out on Wednesday. Because last year Thursday was the welcome party at 5 p.m. And then Friday, Saturday was the conference. 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. or whatever it was. And then on Sunday, they had a half day. It was like 9 to noon or 8 to noon. Then, so this year it's, Friday, Saturday, full day, and then Thursday is the welcome party, but it's a little bit longer than last year's welcome party.
Did you meet a lot of people or like did you have the experience? Like, did you network with a lot of people on Twitter beforehand? Like, were you kind of meeting people for the first time there? Did you, like, a lot of people were like, it was like magical to like see the face behind the PFP kind of thing. Like what aspect of that kind of played in for you?
Yeah. So basically, last VCon, before VCon was like the whole craziness of the NFT market where nobody doxed themselves. Everybody was private. Nobody knew who anybody was other than, their Twitter handles.
Right. So undoxed was like the meta.
Yeah, I had no idea what anybody looked like in real life. So I'm like, I probably talked to you 500 times, but I have no idea what you look like. So, hello, I'm Paul.
Right.
I think I was like one of the only people who had my face on Twitter. But I was, you know, I interact with people on Twitter, but I have no idea who any of them were. But it was definitely cool, like seeing people walking around. You're like, "Who's that?" And then they show you the Twitter. You're like, "Oh, I know you. I commented on your stuff. I retweeted your stuff."
You're like, oh, I should follow you. Oh, I already am. You're this person.
Yeah,
That'd be
basically.
fun.
But I was, you know, Gary's book, the new one, 12 and a half.
Yeah, with the ingredients.
I took that book and I walked around for 3 days straight. I didn't go to any of the speaking gigs. I didn't go to, you know, other than the main stage ones, like when Gary was talking and stuff. I went to some of the activations, but I basically spent 3 days walking around and having people sign that book. We probably have like 1,200 signatures in that book.
Oh my God.
Just walking around.
Where were they even signing it? They must have just been signing it on the pages at that point. 1,200 signatures.
Yeah, I gave them the book and said sign wherever you want.
Yeah. That's dope.
So I did that for 3 days.
You definitely still have that, right? You like frame that or something?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I would hold on to that.
Yeah, for sure. I got Gary and his whole team to sign it on page 55. So that was cool because anytime I had somebody sign it, you know, I always talked to them and networked with them. So that was, you know, my way of networking to people, just coming up to them and be like, "Hey, you want to sign my book?" Yeah, so my experience was meeting so many different people because I didn't even, you know, listen to most of the talks because I was just busy networking with the people that were at the conference, which is super dope. And I went to the activations just to check them out, but I didn't like spend my whole day there. I was spending most of the time getting people to sign the book, which is, you know, a really good idea.
Well, that's smart. I mean, network to get work, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was definitely a workout because I took like 9 million steps per hour. So
I heard that. I heard there was a lot of walking or something at the first VCon. That was another thing I heard. A lot of stairs, a lot of walking.
You know, it's the Viking Stadium. It's not like small, and where the football field was where like the main stage was, and all the chairs for everybody. And from there to the main concourse, there's probably like, I don't know, 50 steps or 75 steps, and there was nothing. No, I mean, on the field was like the chairs and stuff and some food trucks, but all the activations and everything were like either in the suite level or on the main concourse. So like, yeah, if you're down there and you want to go up, you have to take stairs. You want to go back down, you got to take stairs. And it was just lots of walking, but it was definitely cool.
Good, I love it. So, you know, this year, hopefully I see you there. I'm willing it, willful wizarding it that I see you there. You mentioned that you don't have any, you don't have the VF1. Did you end up getting any of the VF2s?
I have 2 VF2s and 4 book games.
Which of the VF2s do you have?
I have that beaver looking thing.
Boisterous beaver?
No. It begins with
hardworking wombat?
G.
Optimistic otter?
I forgot what it's called, but it's the scene is the graveyard, and then my second one is the tuna in the ocean.
The tolerant tuna.
Tolerant tuna in the ocean in a competitive pose.
Nice. Yeah, like the competing pose you said is going to be more important.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking at my my wall right now. Hold on a second.
There's the gracious grizzly. I'm trying to think what looks like a beaver that's not.
No, it's not that.
I'm always looking at them little characters. I love them little guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you mint those?
I minted 3 and I sold 1. Do
you remember which one you sold?
No, it was still unrevealed.
Did you check later to make sure it wasn't like a fucking like spec or something?
No, because there's no point because I wouldn't get it back. So
I know. I'm too curious. I would want to know.
Yeah.
I'd subject myself to the pain, the potential pain.
I was like, do I really want to do that? I mean, I kind of wanted to do it, but I think I ended up looking, but I forgot what it was.
It could have been too crazy then.
Hopefully nobody stole them.
Someone sold like the white shark, I think, like on the white background. It's like it's the only one with like a white background, and they sold it for like one
Oh,
ETH, and I'm like, oof, I would have scooped that
that's
for
why
one ETH, no problem if I knew it was that one.
the other one is the
No problem.
gifted gopher sleeping in the
Ah, there
graveyard.
you go. Gifted gopher. That's what I was forgetting. So I was gonna ask you, probably not the gifted gopher, but the other one, like is any of the reason that you have or kept those ones because you identify with like the traits, or it's just kind of like it was luck of the mint, and then you're like, all right, I'll just stick with these kind of thing, or is there anything with the traits or the characters or the scenes? Does the scene stick out to you? Remember the graveyard? Does anything of it like have like I don't know, moral or personal or any sort of like sentimental value or significance, or is it morally it's like a token to flip kind of thing? Like, what's your perspective on
It
like
was more,
holdership?
the ones that I have are just the ones that I minted. I just haven't gotten rid of them, and I'm more of a keep it type of guy than sell it type of guy. And these two specific series 2 don't mean anything particular to me, but I'm more of a you get what you get type of guy. So those are the ones I got. But when I get a VF1, I definitely want to get a decisive duck.
Oh hell yeah! What makes you want to get decisive duck? I like that one.
I've just struggled with making decisions all the time, so it's going to be my motivation.
That's funny to hear you say that, bro, because it sounds like you have no struggle to make decisions because you can't say no, so the decision's yes every time.
I wouldn't say it's like a struggle, but it's like can I just
Maybe
make up
certain
my mind
decisions.
instead of can I make up my mind instead of thinking about it for a week? Just figure it out in 4 minutes and tell somebody,
Right. Maybe it's making
Thinking about it.
decisions, saying yes to some things and no to others at the same time. It's the deciding not to, I guess, part for you. Because yes is the easy part. It's no. What do you say no to, and what do you then say yes stronger to because of the things you said no to? But if you say yes to everything, you end up like spreading yourself out maybe too thin sometimes or something like that. So maybe that's what it is. The decisive duck, to say yes and when to say yes, when to say no, decisive.
Yeah, basically, and also like thinking about it for a week doesn't change much, basically, and you're not going to have more
Usually not.
information. So it's
Usually
like,
you go with your gut. Usually what you thought in the first minute is what you go with after the week.
It's like I can think about it. It's like, yeah, but what if it's not? Well, it usually is like that, so don't even think about it anymore. Just figure it out.
Right. You just got to start doing. You got to get yourself through the what if storm, the what if fever.
Yeah, basically, I gotta be decisive.
Yeah, got to be decisive, Doug. So that's one of your long term goals, I guess, is to get the VF1. Do you have like a mental roadmap kind of there, or like a plan, or it's like it'll happen when it's meant to happen kind of thing?
More of it'll happen when it'll happen, but right now I'm just trying to pay off some debt, so that's more on my mind than getting a VF1.
Right, that's smart. I mean, that's as you should. Prioritize, getting ahead before fucking getting flashy or whatever.
During the whole NFT craziness, that was definitely not the goal. So I'm trying to take a step back and not let my emotions dictate stuff.
That's good. That's smart. Let the logic kick in. Let the financial mind, the black and white, the analytical kick in. Let you make a little bag for yourself there. Pay off them debts. Get a little overflow, some abundance. Cop that decisive duck.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Hell yeah, man. So you plan to hold the VF2s you have forever? Or the whole Burn Island thing came out. The first Burn was book games, but then there was like the mail-in thing. So you could say how you felt about that too. But like, would you burn a VF2 if there was like a burn for one of them? Or like I'm not sure if I would burn one, especially if mail-in's an option. I don't know. Like I feel like how could you do that? But people did, so no judgment. But I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I mailed in 12 entries because I didn't feel like burning a book games. So I guess we'll see what happens.
And you didn't burn a book games, or you did?
I did not.
Yeah. It was like why? Yeah, I didn't understand why people did. People must have not known if they did. Then you feel kind of like,
yeah, for sure.
Bad
I mean, they didn't post the rules publicly. The only place that they were shown was at the little font thing at the bottom that was in italics.
Right.
So
it's in the...
I'm assuming they did that on purpose because
they were hoping we wouldn't scroll in.
Yeah,
zoom in.
They want
who knows?
book games. That's the whole point,
Ideally, it was deflationary, right?
Yeah, for sure. But what was I going to say? The
but
reason
then
I don't
it was
want
a
to burn
loss,
is because I don't have a lot. if I had 20 VF2s, like burning one is whatever, but I have two, so, and to me, 0.4 ETH is a lot of money, so burning one would have to be worth it, you know what I mean?
Right, and it's like not guaranteed you're getting something. Like I would, if it was like a direct exchange where it's like you burn this, you get this, you burn this $400 thing, you get this jacket that like, is got these stones in it, or I don't know, it's like a $500 jacket, you burn a $400 thing, you definitely get it or something. Okay, cool, maybe that, but yeah, for a raffle, like I'm not, I'm not a scratch off guy. Like it feels, you know what I mean? It feels like the odds are not in my favor, but
I mean,
I don't know. I'm interested to see how it goes.
I'll play scratch off if I have money to spare, but right now I don't have money to spare, so there's no point of even.
Well, yeah, but scratch off is also $10. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's like a $400 scratch, $400 to $600 scratch off, depending on what you VF2 yet. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. People are ballsy though. I mean, the bigger your wallet, the less, the more $500 feels like $5 to you. But $500 still feels like $500 to me. Where my wallet's at. And I do have a few VF2s, but I don't know. Those are like more long-term thing for me, or, there's a good opportunity to flip. Maybe I'll flip a couple of them, but I'm also kind of planning on holding. And I like going to the activations and experiences. And I like, if you have a few of them, you have the chance to get like more, it just raises your odds when something comes out. You're some way a part of it. Like, the hats came out and there's like 6 characters, I think, or 5 or 6. And like, okay, I have the Karma Kiwi Series 2, so I get a 25% off if I want to buy the hat. Like, and I'm going to buy the hat. You know what I mean? I didn't buy it. Yeah, like maybe I'll do that tonight. But it's like limited, it's didn't close yet. But I don't think. But
buy me one too.
But yeah, we'll get a few hats in there. But yeah, I don't know if I could get more than one at 25% off. I'll look at that. I'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool for me to have them long term and to I take it seriously. Like, don't spend money that you can't afford to lose. And it's like anytime I lose money, I'm miserable. I'm like, oh fuck, like but I'm still living every day. Like I'm not eating. I don't really let it cross that line. I let it maybe cross an emotional line because I'm like, that's a level of risk sometimes I'll take. But it's like I never let it cross the logical line of like, okay, well now I don't have rent and like I don't know where my daughter's gonna sleep. Like no, it never crossed. I'm always good on that. We're always gonna have rent. I never risk the rent kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, like even if it goes down, up, like it sucks when it goes down, but if you're in it for the long haul and you believe in it, then it's like you kind of just think, all right, well it'll go back up. Gary Vee's a fucking executor. He's an operator.
Yeah. In my head right now, my brain is telling me that I'm only gonna burn one. A VF2 is if I get something in exchange for it, like that I know that I'm getting. But I don't plan on burning for a sweepstakes or a raffle or anything.
I don't think I do either. I don't think. Maybe I'll mail one in. I didn't even mail one in this time, which I should have, but I was just very busy. I just had a new daughter. It's like I'm all swept up and stuff. And I kept thinking I'll get to it, and I was like, oh, I didn't get to it. Whatever. And it's like, okay, someone else has more odds. You have more odds. So, and they didn't announce that, did they?
Yeah. Announce what?
Who won? Or did they?
No, I think. What's today's date?
The 10th.
10th. I think for the mail-in, I think it said. For the mail-in, it said that it had to get received by today. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so James Cook, I guess, is still counting all the hanging checks.
I'm assuming after today is when they start counting all the entries and then figuring it out.
That's who you had to send them to, right? I think I was looking at someone posted and it was like, send them all to James Cook. Attention, James Cook.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, bro, James is going to be fucked. Yeah. James was like, did he volunteer for this? Like, did he draw the short straw? Like, I've met him before. I don't know him like very personally, but it's just like, I know the face. I can kind of just picture just a person like him, like, just sitting there in his office and like someone dumps like a fucking like garbage pail full. You know what I mean? Like a movie or something. Like just some unrealistic number. Like people bring in like 10 garbage bags and like, what's that? Is that the garbage going out? And they're like, no, bro, that's the first fucking truckload of the fucking mail you have to go through. There's 3 more trucks. And he's like, what the fuck? I don't know. Hopefully, James, if you're listening, hopefully that's not what you're going through, dude. And if you are, I'm so sorry. That's fucking nuts. That's a lot of letters,
well, I think
dude. Some people did like 55, like.
I think somebody sent in like 350.
Oh my
Anyways,
God, dude.
I'm pretty sure
Poor
the
James.
sweepstake laws in America um, say that you have to have a third party that counts everything. So I think James
Right.
might be the one just receiving and then sending it off to whoever he has to send it
Oh,
off to.
okay. Well, still, I bet he's doing some tedious shit. Even if he doesn't have to read all of them, even if
Oh
you got to
yeah,
send each one out or whatever. Like, poor James, man.
yeah, for sure.
Cheers, James. Thank you, James. We're fucking
Yeah,
gratitude
James, we
gorilla. We're
feel
we're
for you.
grateful gar. Good looks,
Yeah, but
James Cook.
yeah, James, but definitely if you
You better
see
not be
my
cooking them ballots, dude.
name on the if you see my name on one of those envelopes, you know what to do. Okay, thank you.
Wink, wink. Now, Paul, I'm just looking at the timer here. We're 50 minutes in. I always give the last 10 minutes, like if there's any call to action you want to do. So I don't know. I forget if you said the exact name of the YouTube, but if you want to shout it out, tell people to follow you on that YouTube. Like, tell people about your link tree. Go to your Twitter page, click on your bio, click on your links. Like, whatever you want to direct people. We have 10 minutes for that. So or however long you want to take to do that, and then we could just talk a little bit more, have whatever other things you want to close out on, and then I'll do the official kind of closeout message.
Yeah, definitely nothing crazy. Just if you're interested, look at my Twitter, my link tree, whatever. Everything's in there. And if you want to see the YouTube show that I'm part of for working or building houses, construction channel, it's called Nico's Nikos Property Show. So take a look if you're interested. Other than that, check out my link tree, check out my Twitter, and do whatever you want with it. I'll be
Hell
here.
yeah! Now let me ask you this: let's say someone's watching this, right? They sat all the way through. They're with us. They're fucking feeling the vibe. They love it. And they're looking at you and they're like, I like this guy, Paul. He's got like courage. He's got this like, ready to try and fail, ready to learn and grow, ready to keep getting at it. He says yes. He's got that fucking, ingenuity, that entrepreneurial spirit. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Can I reach out to him? Should I reach out to him? Would he be open to this? Like, what would you say to that person if like someone's looking at you like that? Maybe he was watching. Like maybe they want to hire you,
We'll
get you
it out.
involved. Just DM you. Any pitch, any like, hey, this is this is why like you should pick me kind of thing. Beyond that, obviously the whole interview.
Nothing too crazy right now. I don't have that much time to like start a new career, but once once my life kind of figures itself out, then maybe I'll be in the looks for a new career or a new job or whatever. But for now, I'm just doing what I'm doing. And if you want to reach me, we can always talk about whatever you're interested in or any questions that you have. So you can just DM me and then we'll figure it out.
And like odd jobs for the t-shirts or that kind of thing, or the graphic design, like that, like you're kind of like it's not on the plate right now, or like that people could reach out to you too. I'm just trying to throw it like whatever is open to you. If throw some revenue your way, whatever. People are listening. I know people are listening, so it's like I don't know exactly who, but it may be the right person. Like.
Small side jobs and stuff are fine, but I'm more talking about like a full-time career. I can't commit to something like that right now, but.
Right, but I'm saying, but you would take some odd jobs, side jobs kind of thing, little graphic design.
Side
that
jobs,
you would say, yeah, reach out to you now.
Graphic design stuff. If you need some help, with my limited experience, if you need some advice on managing or business stuff or whatever, I can help you with what I know currently. So just reach out to me and we'll see what you need and see what we can figure out.
Great. Now let me also ask you this. You may not feel this way about you. I don't know. You seem like, you said you have the struggle with decisiveness, but the way I'm looking at you, the way you sound, right? Like, you have a certain strength in just like going for it, right? That other people maybe not would have. So it's like, maybe you do sometimes have a hard time saying no, and maybe that's a weakness, and it's good you're aware, you're self-aware, you're working on it, but like that doesn't discount the strength at all, right? The strength you have is like the just get it done, just go do it, like that you have the self-awareness, that you're cutting back on like, certain things. Other people can't, right? Like, it's funny today. You speak about roller skating. It's so fucking funny, actually. It brings me back to this story. I was talking to this woman about work we were talking about our kids and growing up and how kids are different. And I told this story about how when I was a kid, I watched this video of me when I was younger with like my aunt or my dad or something. and I'm there in fucking roller skates with my cousin, and I'm like tiptoeing, like trying to just take like one like little step at a time, and my cousin is like whoop whoop whoop, and he fucking falls on his ass, and he gets up, he's like not even crying, he's like whoop whoop, falls whoop whoop, and like I see him falling. He's my same age. We were born within a few weeks of each other. Like he was like my favorite cousin. You know what I mean? Like we were the closest to each other. And I see him. He's fine. He's getting up. He's falling. He's fine. But it didn't convince me that I would be fine if I fell. Right? Like I was just the whole time like Scooby-Doo, like crawling, like creeping to so they don't wake up the monster kind of thing, bro. And then I would fall once and I'd fall once anyway, then I'd start crying, and I'd be like scared to get back up for like 10 minutes or whatever. That's what now I'm obviously more outgoing, but that's what I was like as a kid, to some people's surprise. So if there's like a little 13-year-old me out there listening to this and being like, I don't know, that guy says he's fucking not making decisions, but I'm out here, I can't even fucking like roll in the skates, I can't even make the decision to try. What would you say to like where does that confidence come from you? Is it just innate? Like is there like advice you give yourself or you ever received that like gets you over the obstacles, or something you could say to kind of give that little kid a nudge?
Yeah, what I like to tell people is you're in a current situation, whatever it is, you want to skate, you want to start a business, you want to make some more money, you want to pursue one of your passions, you're in whatever state you are right now. If you don't try it, if you don't ask somebody to help you with something, if you don't say yes to something, the worst thing that happens is they tell you no, you don't try it, and you'll be in the same position that you started at. So you lose nothing by trying and going for it, but you lose everything by not going for it, because then you don't know what would have come of it, and you might not have gotten the yes by asking, or you might not have learned how to roller skate, which turned into a career that you never would have imagined. So if you don't try it, you'll never experience what it could have become. And if you do try it and you fail, you're in the same spot you started at, so you don't lose anything.
I love that message. That's 100% true. I think that's good advice. Like the realization that like, right, you could just kind of end up back where you started, and maybe you feel some emotional way about, your failure, but that's what you got to realize, right? And that's what you're saying. At a certain point, like you could give all the advice in the world, and that's what we're doing, giving the nudge and inspiration, bring the horse to water. But eventually, you got to drink. And the drinking is, you got to ask yourself, do you actually want the thing you said you want? You said that out loud. I heard you say it. People heard you say it. You were in a room full of people. You said you want this. But now you're behaving this way, and that behavior doesn't map to here. So what do you really want? Do you want to be like in your comfort zone and give up this thing? Or do you want to step out of your comfort zone and go for this thing, knowing you might fail, but at least you went for it? And you got to make that decision. That's it. That's the crux. Like, that's as far as you could, I think, bring people, is outlining that for them, and then they got to choose.
Comfort is the enemy of progress.
Exactly. And life begins at the end of your comfort zone. I love all these. That's what I'm saying. That's what I keep in my head. Like, when I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Like, you know what I mean? I have like a little reminder in my head that like reroutes that shit to the positive. So I love it. So that's what we're talking about, man. That's passion. That's positivity. Thank you for sharing your story. We are coming out, just to the hour here. The last thing I always say before I do the closeout, you don't have to say anything else. Do you have any mic drop moment kind of thing? Some people do. If not, we'll go right out into the outro.
As Gary Vee would say, you have one life and you're going to die. Do something about it.
Fuck yeah, baby. And that's one of my favorite characters too, by the way. That's one of the VF2s I bought secondhand, is that You're Gonna Die Fly strategizing in New York. Because when I met him at the shoe thing, I told him, I was like, bro, like, I know I'm going to die. I love that video with the woman at the drive-thru. Like, next time I see you, I'm going to be bigger. I'm going to go for it. And like, I'm fucking, I'm strategizing in New York. And that was before the You're Gonna Die Fly. So when that came out, I figured I had to have it. So 100%, bro, you're going to die. Now make your life meaningful. That's the fucking mic drop. That's the message here. That's the motivation. So we're going to close out. We always close out kind of the way we come in here. We thank the guests for coming on the show. That's Paul today. Thank you, Paul, for risking life and limb, doing the video podcast here while you're driving. But you did it. We focused. I'm very happy we made it through safely. You're on the road. You're driving safe. You're good. So thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your vulnerabilities, your lessons, teaching us about like how you go for it, but you also feel like there's this struggle and you're self-aware and you're going to get over that. You're overcoming your obstacles. You're focusing on the now, which is smart. You don't have like a big picture 100% yet, but you will at some point. You're getting to a place where eventually maybe you will transition career or move on to like this bigger image, but you got to like kind of make that decision first. So I love it. I love the message. I love the positivity. Everything we said about Gary Vee-Con, it's all fucking good vibes. Love these conversations and I love the show. We also, thank the listeners. So anyone who's listening on Apple, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, that's where we're broadcasting right now. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked it, like, share, retweet, share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, send it to your worst enemies and maybe it'll turn them around and bring them to the light. Who fucking knows? You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't like it, don't do any of that. Fuck that. I don't want any non-genuine promotion. Don't fucking hype me for no reason. I don't know why you would. You probably wouldn't. But just saying, keep it genuine. Only fucking share if you liked it. Just if you liked it, it's a reminder. It's not like you don't have to. No pressure. And the last thing we always say is also, again, thank you to God, thank you to the universe, thank you for the energy, anything bigger than us that makes life itself happen. We're talking about life. God makes life happen. So, de facto, we're talking about God in some way and the force of the universe and energy. So we thank everything for that and the gratitude for bringing us here together to have this conversation. And the very last message we close out on is a message from our friend a.k.a. Brand. And that is, if you have not heard it today, you are loved. There's light and dark in the universe. That's like the yin and the yang. But there's also a belief that there's oneness, that oneness is love, and that you haven't heard it today, you are loved. And not only are you loved, but since you are love itself, you are the conscious force of the universe, incarnate and living and walking around. Love creates babies. Love creates the Big Bang. Love creates life. So you are love itself. But if you haven't heard it today, you are loved.